All right, my friends, today we're going to talk about how to start a business. How do you start a business? Well, it's very easy. It's very easy to start a business. And what you need to understand is you need to sit there and be realistic with yourself and understand. I want you to look out. Look at the Walmarts. Look at the Targets. Look at all of the businesses, the McDonald's, the Whataburgers, Jack in the Box. I want you to look at the Wendy's, the Starbucks, all of these businesses. The interesting thing you will find is just about all of them, none of them went to college for a degree. It's because you don't need a degree to start a business. You don't. It takes you to literally get out and do something. You have to have a plan, you have to have goals, but you have to have everything in place and actually do something. And I have a degree myself. I have a degree in business management. I completed college, so I'm not fighting against degrees. I just want you to understand, to be very realistic with yourself. Do not think you need to go to college to start a business. You don't need to do that because it just simply takes trial and error. It takes trial and error of running a business to learn your flaws, to learn how you get better and press on and make the business better. That's what it takes. But before we actually continue to go down this rabbit hole, I wanted to tell you something that's very interesting. What's very interesting is in life, you have a few different types of people. These are the types of people that you have right here. In life, you have number one, the person who is very prideful. A person who is extremely prideful and arrogant is what you can tag to this list here. That person is the person. You show them how to run the business. You show them truth. You show them how to do something that they're unable to do. And they look you in the face and say, nope, I have a better idea. That doesn't work. That's amazing to me. Many people do that. They do it when it comes down to religion. You have Jesus the Christ who came down and died upon the cross, and he told you what you need to do to be saved. He told you need to be baptized in water to be saved. But you have people who will look at that and push back and say, no, I have a better way. I want to just believe alone. Not only do they do that with religion, it's very sad that many people do that with all aspects of life. Can you imagine going up to Stephen Curry, who is arguably the best shooter ever in the history of basketball, going up to him saying, hey, can you teach me how to be a good shooter? And then he shows you, look, you got to hold the ball like this, and you got to have a pretty nice form. And also what you have to do is you have to do this 400 times a day. You have to do it 400 times a day daily. You have to continue to try to practice. You practice and shoot 400 three-pointers every day. You have to make 400. If you don't make 400, you keep going. So perhaps you have to shoot 1,000. Perhaps you have to shoot 2,000, 3,000. You have to make 400 a day. Imagine looking at Stephen Curry saying, I'm not going to do that. That doesn't work. I have a better idea. They're prideful. Sadly, many people are prideful. They will look at other people's lives who are successful and they'll look at that. The person who's trying to help them will show them and they'll reject it and say, nope, not going to do it. Many are prideful. That's the first type of person. The second type of person is the person who is a doer. A doer. So you tell this person what they need to do, just like Jesus will come along and tell you, you must be baptized in water to be saved because it's for the forgiveness of sins. It adds you to just one church, the Church of Christ. There's only but one church. Jesus will tell you that. And the person who is honest will receive that truth, read that truth, obey that truth according to truth. And on the flip side, the non-religious aspect of it is interesting because the person who's a doer will look at a person's life who perhaps is a day trader. Let's say a person's a day trader and they're showing you how to day trade. They're giving you all of the nuggets. They're saying, do this, do that. Map out all of your trades. Make sure you take notes, only trade during these times. And they listen and they do what that person told them and they become successful. They're doers. Here's a third person, lazy. The third person is a very lazy individual. Many people are lazy. I can sit here and I can tell you the truth until I'm blue in the face. I can sit here and I can show you how to run and start a successful business until I'm absolutely blue in the face. But the sad reality is many people are lazy. Many people are very lazy and they want a quick buck. They don't want to go through the trial and error. They don't want to fail a little bit and fail and fail and fail and get back up and finally have something successful. They don't want to do that. They want to be delusional and they want to wake up. They want to go to sleep and wake up the next 30 minutes and have millions of dollars. They want to go to sleep. Perhaps they think of a business and they go to sleep the next morning and it's completed. The very next morning it's completed. They have 500 workers. They're massively successful. They're the next Starbucks. That's delusion. Many people are lazy. They don't want to do that. They instead want to go gamble their money, which is a sin. They want to go gamble their money and get lotto tickets. Lottery is a complete sin, and it's delusional. It's delusional. It is a lazy person to want to go buy a lotto ticket to get rich quick. My friend, the sad reality is, we're going to go down another rabbit hole about this just very quickly. The sad reality is every person who goes and gets these lotto tickets, they end up massively broke very quickly, and they can't make more money because they accidentally got it. They accidentally got the money and they don't know how to make more of it. So you have a prideful person, you have the person who's a doer, and you have the lazy person. Many people are one of these. And here's the next one, the fourth one. The fourth person is the person who's actually ignorant. They're actually ignorant. And I don't think a lot of people actually fall into this category. I honestly think a lot of people fall into the prideful and lazy category. We live in a time in which we have AI. AI can literally create a business for you. You want to be so lazy? People are lazy to use AI. You can ask AI, you can tell AI to do a few things, and it will literally spit you out of business. It just takes you to go be a doer and do what AI says. But many people are too lazy to do that. How about that? I think lots of people fall into the lazy and prideful category. I don't think a lot of people are ignorant today, and perhaps some people may truthfully be ignorant. Some people may truthfully be ignorant and just don't know how to do certain things. But I don't think that's the majority of the people. So these are the four types of people in life. Now that we have that out of the way, what I want you to understand, my friends, is how to start a business, how to begin a business. You need to be a thinker. You need to think. Whenever you go get your little cup of coffee from Starbucks, you need to think, why did I go to Starbucks? Why did I not go to Dutch Bros? Why didn't I go to the other coffee spot down the road? Why didn't I do that? Why Starbucks? When you go to Chick-fil-A, why did you go to Chick-fil-A? Why didn't you go to McDonald's? Why didn't you go to Subway? Why? When you go to your favorite Mexican restaurant, why did you go there? Why didn't you go anywhere else? You have to think about those things. What was different with Starbucks than any other coffee spot? What was different? And I'll tell you what it is, because perhaps Starbucks has better service than the person down the road. Perhaps the person down the road, they have very good coffee. The coffee's great, but their customer service is terrible. It's so bad. And you don't want to go there because the customer service is so bad, you're not going. But Starbucks can have mid coffee. Starbucks coffee can be just all right. But if they have excellent service, hey, how's it going? Welcome to Starbucks. They have smiles on their face when you come in. You're going to rather go to Starbucks. So now when you look at those types of things, think about Chick-fil-A. Why do you go to Chick-fil-A and not McDonald's? Well, because McDonald's is known for having processed food. And someone can come along and argue that so does Chick-fil-A. They have processed food as well. But their marketing is brilliant. The marketing of Chick-fil-A is brilliant. They have very good customer service. And it's not like that at McDonald's. So you would much rather go to Chick-fil-A because of the experience. That's what I want you to think about, my friends. Whenever you drink a cup, or perhaps you go get soda, why did you get that soda and not the other one? Why that bottle of water and not the other one? It's because of the experience, the marketing. And what you have to understand and realize to start a business, it takes good marketing. You have to learn marketing. You have to learn why some businesses fail and why some don't. You have to learn, why did you go to that Chick-fil-A and you didn't go to McDonald's? Why? Because you wanted a better experience. So now that you know that, you can literally take that in mind. And let's say you wanted to go start a Chick-fil-A. You wanted to go start a business similar to Chick-fil-A. Well, how can you beat Chick-fil-A? How can you have better service than Chick-fil-A? How can you make your burgers more flavorful than Chick-fil-A? How can you make people come and have a better marketing team than Chick-fil-A? You have to think about those things, and I guarantee you, AI can tell you. It just takes you to not be lazy. That's the kind of things you have to think about if you want to start a business. You have to think about those types of things. You have to. Because if you don't, You're going to just simply open up a mediocre business and it's going to fail because it's no different than a poor quality one down the road. What makes you different? You have to stand out. You have to absolutely stand out. And that's with everything in life. It's interesting, isn't it? That's with religion. God told the true Christian they must stand out. A true Christian is a peculiar people. So a person should come along and see you telling the bold, honest truth and everyone else telling lies. You should stand out for being the person who tells the bold, honest truth. You should stand out. You should be different. The same thing with a business. If you have a business, you need to stand out and be different. Stand out, be different, have a better marketing team. Be different, outcompete them, hire better workers, have a better plan, have cheaper food. You have to think about all of those kind of things, my friend. It's very easy to start a business, and it takes you to get out and do something. That's how you start a business. It was summed up very quickly. You start a business by looking at the businesses that you currently have, that you currently go to. Look at the businesses that you currently go to and think about why you go there. Why am I here? Think about that. You can incorporate the same concept and tweak it to be just a little bit different. That's what people do all the time. That's why Chick-fil-A is here. They perhaps looked at McDonald's and tweaked McDonald's and said, hey, they sell burgers, but now let's sell burgers with chicken. Let's sell burgers with chicken instead of selling hamburgers with ground beef. It's simple, my friends. It's literally so simple. It's that simple. You know, Warren Buffett, he became extremely wealthy because he invested tons of his money in stocks. And I did some research on that guy before, and he was brilliant. The stocks he invested in was the stocks that he ate, the stocks that he drank. He drank Coca-Cola. He liked Coca-Cola, so he invested in Coca-Cola. And it's literally that simple, my friends. You have to change your mindset. Change your mindset. Think about businesses you can create based on that simple concept, and you can easily start a business without going to school. Easily without going to school and spending thousands and thousands of dollars, getting yourself in massive amounts of debt. You can easily go do some trial and error and start your own business. And here's one more nugget I want to give to you. Lots of people have this idea that you have to have a massive amount of money to start a business. No, you don't. You don't have to have a massive amount of money. It's something called OPM. OPM, you know what that means? OPM, let me grab this and write it for you. Let me tell you what OPM means. OPM. OPM is very simple. Other people's money. You can be massively successful by using other people's money. And that's what people do all the time. Get a business loan. That's other people's money. But that business is not going to give you a loan if you don't have a plan. You have to have a plan. You can be massively successful in day trading by using other people's money. But you're not going to get other people's money and be massively successful if you don't have a plan. Let me give you an example. In order to day trade and make money from day trading, you don't have to use your own money, my friend. It's something called prop firms. A prop firm is a company, a business in which they will pay you and give you their money if you're a good trader. All you have to do is have a strategy and be a good trader. Learn to trade, have a strategy and be good at it and be profitable. Show them you're profitable by going to take a test that they will give you. They'll give you an evaluation test. You go take that evaluation, and if you pass the test, they will give you money. They'll let you use their money to day trade with their money. Other people's money. You don't have to have a massive amount of money to get rich, my friends. It just takes you knowing a little bit of knowledge, not being ignorant and not being prideful and arrogant and lazy. Hope they help, my friends. And as always, the word of God each day will keep the devil away for a season.